This is the Up on the Soapbox podcast, a production of Soapbox Marketing Communication. The foundational goal for the Soapbox is to host and foster a simple, yet dynamic online environment which helps initiate and develop personal business connections by way of purposeful, one-on-one conversation. The Soapbox is redefining how communication is done in the promotional products industry. I am Brett Schaefer, and along with my partner and co-host Dan Pickett, we bring you Up on the Soapbox. Hello and welcome to Up on the Soapbox. This is our podcast. It's episode 7. Good things come in 7. It's a lucky number, right? 7 is a lucky number. It's better than 13. I think we'll have to skip that like some elevators do. But we're at episode 7. And today is a really lucky day. It's lucky because I get to spend it with two incredible people. First, my partner, Dan Pickett. Hey, Dan.
Hey, happy to be here once again, number 7.
Number 7. And we are blessed today with the presence of a very special person. And I'll go back to the lucky term. We are lucky to have Kris Fredericks from Moderne Glass Company. She's a senior VP of sales and marketing over there. Welcome.
Thank you, Brett. So pleased and welcome to be here.
Thanks. Well, it's great to have you here. And we look forward to learning a lot about you today. And I know you bring in a lot to the table, right? I mean, you've done some homework. Right.
My homework.
So first, why don't we just dive right into this and learn a little bit more about you and Moderne Glass. You'll tell us a little bit about some recent branding / name changes going on, because I know we're all curious. So go ahead, lay it on us.
Okay. Thanks again, Brett and Dan. We love Soapbox. We're very happy to be part of this great organization. So first and foremost, thank you so much. A little bit about the history of Moderne Glass. We're actually in our 53rd year. Moderne Glass was founded in 1968. Moderne Glass actually got their start in retail. So Moderne Glass was selling to like local bars and restaurants, barware, and then they got a license, the Ned Smith license. He's a artist in Pennsylvania that does like natural wildlife and such. He's done covers for Field and Stream and such, but Moderne Glass got the license for that and was very heavily involved with retail. So we were selling to like Orvis and into the retail market. It wasn't until 1984 Moderne Glass started to sell to a distributor in Pittsburgh, and that distributor said, "Hey, you really need to check out ASI. They had specialty promotional products." So our owner, still our owner, Tom McKnight, he ventured into the ad specialty world. We joined ASI in 1984. And at that time, you wanted to keep yourself hidden from the end user. So you had to come up with a line name. So the line name that was established at that time was Glass America. So thus, there's where our two names come in. Our line name, Glass America, our company name is officially Moderne Glass Company. So 1984, that's when Glass America was introduced and had our first catalog, our first show. By 1988, the company had really taken off through ad specialty. That's when I came on board. I've been in this industry for 33 years and been with Moderne Glass for 33 years. So I came on board in 1988. I was going to college at the time, going to Kent State. Kent State had a job fair, and Moderne Glass was there recruiting for CSRs and other office personnel because they was really growing, right? And so came on board, started working for Moderne Glass in customer service, and was promoted up through the ranks fairly quick. The company was really growing at that point. So I moved on to being the customer service manager while still going to school. I ended up getting my undergrad in marketing, and then I went on and got my MBA, marketing and management. So I continued to go to school while I worked full time and working my way up through the ranks. So again, it was just, the company was growing by leaps and bounds. At that point, we were actually located in Ohio.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Kent State seems like quite a long commute to
Well, yeah, we were located in Ohio, and then in so we joined ASI in 84. By 1993, Moderne Glass was in a top 25 suppliers in the industry. So we had some really nice growth. But 1994, October 11th of 1994, there was a fire in our warehouse, and our company, the building completely burned to the ground. The company was completely destroyed by fire. Now, luckily for us at that point, we were really growing. So we actually had equipment on order. We actually had these big leers that you use to fire the imprints. We were having that ordered and flown in from Germany. So we had all these things going on. We had just introduced an exclusive product that was doing really, really well and beginning to take off. So burned to the ground, you know, and this was a time where there's no Facebook, there's no internet, there's no nothing. So, you know, we had like 3,000 orders in house at the time of our fire. So we had no cell phones. We're calling from a pay phone when we find out we burned down, because we kind of, the management kind of meets up at a local hotel. And, you know, we're just trying to regroup. Now me, you know, I'm the youngster of the group, and I'm just beside myself. I felt like I watched my house burn down, but, you know, we got pay phones and we started calling. Well, that night, we immediately had made arrangements to set up at the East Liverpool Port Authority building in East Liverpool, Ohio. And we had phone lines ran, and, you know, basically just started calling people one by one saying, hey, you know, our company burned down, you know, you had an order in house, because this is a crazy story, but it's true. The night that our company burned down, it burnt down on night shift. We had somebody who did backup and worked at night in our accounting department. She had the forethought to pull the backup and get out of the building. So we had all this. This is a true story. So we had all of our records and everything we needed to, you know, contact folks and basically tell them that we had burned down. So again, that was in October, and then by June of the following year, we bought a building in Aliquippa, which we're about 5 miles southeast or west of the Pittsburgh International Airport. And, you know, this is where we started it up again.
So you've been in the same Aliquippa location since that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We've been here since 1995. And it's a really big building. The building came to us, it was a distribution center for videotapes. So we know where that went south, right? Yeah. So you had this huge building that was used for a distribution of videotapes, and basically they go out of business, and we moved right in. But it's a massive building. We actually lease out a lot of our space. We have several tenants here. So we have operations in part of our building and our office, and then we have operations. Another part, like our etching, is actually done off-site. It's done about 5 miles down the road. So, and we have several warehouses in the Pittsburgh area.
So you were going to school in Kent State, and the company started in Ohio. Are you an Ohio girl, or are you
I'm an Ohio girl. Yeah, I'm an Ohio girl. Yeah.
So you're a Cleveland Browns fan?
No.
You can't go there. All right.
No,
so
no. My dad, you know, I wasn't really that much into football growing up. My dad was always a big Cleveland Browns fan. And I think when that whole thing happened with Baltimore and all of that, my dad kind of went south. But I guess I became a big Pittsburgh fan just from being around, you know, everybody at Modern Glass, and our owner, he's like the world's biggest Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So
smart move.
Just became a Steelers girl, I guess. Yeah.
Wow. So let's clarify the move to Modern Glass and away from Glass America as the name. And I know that this is kind of upon you as we speak. I know as we were starting to, you know, entertain bringing you all onto the Soapbox, this was part of the conversation. So this is a current move in your rebranding is just time, part of the evolution.
Brett, honestly, I mean, here's the problem. So, you know, we were really big into glass originally. And as we've expanded our line and gotten into ceramic mugs, and then we went into plastics, and we went into stainless steel. We were one of the first suppliers to offer stainless steel. We actually introduced our first piece of stainless steel drinkware back in 1997. Wow. So we kind of got pigeonholed. The name has kind of pigeonholed us into, people think about us for glass, but we're just so much more than that, right? Because we have this huge line of drinkware. You know, it's, you know, we've got, again, stainless steel, ceramic, plastic. We also have an awards division. So we've been trying to move away from Glass America and Modern Glass, and we've been trying to rebrand ourselves as just Modern. So we've been putting, our branding efforts have just been modern, but, so many people know us as Glass America. It's been such a strong brand for us, such a recognized brand. Letting go of that's been really rough. So the company name is Modern. The official company name is Modern Glass Company Incorporated, but we're trying to move toward just modern.
Good luck. It's not an easy task, but if you do need somebody to make you some swag, I know some people. So you just let me know.
All right.
We're good on that.
Okay.
All right. So let's get to the fun part now. So let's talk about what's on our mind today. So I think for our soapbox moments today, I'm going to start with Dan. Dan, let us know what's going on. What's on your mind?
I'm going first today. Well, listen. So there's March Madness is happening right now, and I'm sort of a sports guy, and I wanted to discuss something related to that, but not exactly about March Madness. And that is a kind of a controversial issue, which is to say college athletes should be paid. All right. So, for those people that don't follow sports that closely, perhaps it's not as big an issue, but there is a huge issue there. And I actually am taking what most people would think would be a counter position to what is becoming more popular, and that is that they should be paid. My position is they are paid. I think in all these conversations, people discuss, compensating college athletes, and I understand the reasons why. To me, a scholarship worth about $250,000 is compensation. That's my opinion. Now, that doesn't cover all of it. So it's a very complicated issue. The issue really comes up when you talk about superstars in the sports. And the number of kids that go pro from college athletes is less than 2%. So we're talking about this very small population that can make money, if you will, from their likeness and things like that. So I just don't quite understand. This is what I'd like to see happen. I'd like all college athletes to get something called a stipend, which is just a little bit of money to cover, food and fun and things, because they actually do not have an opportunity to work on campus. Right. So if you don't have an opportunity to work, let's offer them a little bit of modest income just to kind of get, a piece of pizza on a Friday night or something along those lines. But I just don't see how you can discount the value of a $250,000 education or $150,000 education, a big number either way you look at it. Now, having said that, the issue that comes up is making money off their own likenesses. So the colleges right now, if they sell a jersey with a particular player's number on it, that player does not get compensated if they're a collegiate athlete. I think that should change. So I do think that we're not paying them to play the sport, but if that person themselves can generate income from their likeness or on a video game or on a t-shirt or something, I think they should be compensated for that. So it sounds like I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth, but I'm not. The problem I have is a salary for college athletes. I just don't see that as something that, that makes sense to me. So there's a couple ways you can fix these things too. I mean, I think a high school kid should be able to go right to the pros. That right now is not the case. I don't know why they restrict them. Other sports don't restrict, but basketball does, and I believe football does. So I like the way baseball does it in the NCAA, which is if you commit to college, it's at least a 3-year commitment. So you're saying to these kids, look, we're not coming in here for what they call one and done in college basketball, where they just come in for 1 year. They really don't attend classes. They get put on probation. And by the time the year's out, they're leaving anyway, and they never really were a true college student. None of that makes sense to me at all. So I say, let these kids, particularly in basketball, we're talking about NCAA March Madness, let them go pro as coming out of high school. There's also another new development very recently. The NBA has created something called the G League, which is a rock solid, real minor league. These kids, the top players, can come out if they're not ready for college, not prepared for college, or not interested in college. They can go there and earn $75,000 or $100,000 or $50,000, so they can earn towards moving to the big leagues. So anyway, I don't want to keep blabbing about this. I just want to take my position up on the soapbox by saying I don't want to pay the college athletes, but I do think they should be compensated in certain ways. Is that
you left no room for discussion here because you covered both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But what I will tell you, having gone to a university that saw zero football success when I was there, only to start seeing success the year I left and hasn't missed a bowl game since in 30 plus years or 30 years, I can tell you firsthand that I've seen what the success of a football program can do to a university visually. When I was at Virginia Tech and graduated in 1993, my senior year they went 2-8-1 in football. The next year they started this incredible winning streak and became a national contender 7 years later for the national title. And if you went and looked at campus back in '93 versus how it looks today, because of their success in football, the athletic program has just blossomed. And to not share the money that they bring in with those athletes that are responsible for that success, partly responsible for that success, is blasphemous. I think they do deserve to get paid, and they should cap it. I mean, you don't want to give an advantage to an Alabama who's got all kinds of money, and they got money coming from different directions, and they, with sponsorships and endorsement money, et cetera, things that smaller colleges don't have. So you don't want to create an unfair advantage for a school that is able to recruit and have success in these things. But at the same time, those players are responsible for their success, and they should share in that glory. And,
well, aren't they getting compensated with a free education?
It's free.
What do you mean it's free?
Free.
Was it free for you?
They are. But but let's use Alabama as an example. If you're in state and you're going to Alabama, that may be a $40,000 education. If you're going to Syracuse, that's a $300,000
Okay.
education.
Well, 40,000 times 4 is $240,000 if my math is correct. No, it's 160,000
overall versus 200 and some odd thousand at a private school. So that's not equitable either. So if you want to look at it that way, there's a differentiation in
the point of the matter is that less than 2% of these guys go pro anyway. So we're really talking about the University of Rhode Island, where I went, and Akron, and smaller D3 and D2 schools. And where do you draw the line?
Where do you draw the line? And Kris, I'm sure, has a lot to say about this.
Well,
I got so much to lend to this conversation.
No. All right, I'm done. I'm done. That's too much time spent on that subject.
Keep it a little bit briefer than Dan. So,
we have a disagreement, which is interesting. You do think they should be paid.
I do. So
and
today,
I think I'm in the minority these days.
We are recording today. It is April Fool's Day. It's April 1st, and I want to start out with a little bit of a trivia piece of trivia. Today is the 45th birthday for Apple. Apple was founded on this day in 1976. I don't know if anybody knew that. I didn't.
I didn't.
I think you're kidding.
I'm not.
Is that an April Fool's? No. Okay.
It's not an April Fool's joke. So it was founded by Steve Jobs. We all know that. Wozniak, we know that as well. Part of the Steve Club over there. And then a third guy named Ronald Wayne. Did we all know about Ronald Wayne? No. Ronald Wayne.
Was he Batman?
His name wasn't Steve, so I think this is part of the problem. So Ronald Wayne lasted for 12 days, and he sold his shares back for $800. And he went on his separate way. And I don't know what happened to Ronald Wayne. It's kind of like the fifth Beatle thing. I have no idea what the hell happened to Ronald Wayne. He may have had a successful life, but he sold his shares back 12 days after they incorporated to Wozniak and Jobs and for $800 and went back. Anyway, interesting story. But what I did want to say about April Fool's Day is that it's lost all of its charm, all of its appeal. Why even bother anymore? We're surrounded by prank videos in social media every single day of our lives. Why does April Fool's have to continue to exist? It's so ridiculous. It's silly. I don't get it. It's dumb. Even the kids aren't surprised by anything anymore. And that's really what April Fool's was all about. It was pulling one over on your kids because they're so gullible. But they see this, they live this. It's part of their daily routine. They're just surrounded by prank videos. And I just think it's lost its appeal. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
Very, very disappointing, actually. how can you, that's talk about blasphemy, being against April Fool's Day. I mean,
I'm
it's
against it.
one of the best days of the year, isn't it?
You're
Come on.
right.
Did you see what, did you guys both see what Numo did?
I did see what Numo did. It was really fantastic. If
Very
you haven't
funny.
plug for Numo, we'd love to have you on the soapbox.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, well, obviously, there's a little bit of a disagreement here as well. So it's great that we're finding topics that we don't agree on, but we don't want to eat up all of our time because we have our guest with us today. And Kris, tell us what's on your mind today.
Not as deep as what you two have, for sure. I'm just going to talk about love of pets and treating your pets like they're part of your family. It's always been very important to me. So, I grew up with animals from the day I was born. I've always had pets. I was probably riding horses before I could walk. Had cats and dogs and et cetera, et cetera. I spent 20 years of my life rescuing ferrets. I rescued ferrets for 20 years. So, I try to, continue to help animals and do fundraisers for the Humane Society. But with all of that said, my two pets are going to live like royalty, right? So if I am going to help all these other pets, which I have and I do, I'm going to treat my pets like they are royalty. So I have two dogs. They're from the same litter, from the same breeder, Mozart and Maggie. They're charcoal labs. They're going to have their first birthday at the end of May. I'm planning this spectacular birthday party for my dogs. They're going to have all kinds of doggy friends. The party has grown so big, and I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. I've actually had to divide it into two parties. I'm going to have one for family and one for friends, because now I'm thinking it's going to be like a doggy free for all. And my dogs are really wild. They're wild dogs because they're just pups, but Mozart probably weighs around 95 now, but he sits on me. He thinks he's a lap dog. And, Maggie May, she's just, she's not quite as big, but she's pretty big too. But so I want to talk to you all, and I know that you guys love your pets, or I'm pretty sure that you do, but, I want to talk to you about upping your game. Okay. Upping your game on your pets and treating your pets really well. So my pets, of course, they go trick-or-treating, they wore their costumes, they had their own stockings with their names embroidered, and we wrapped their gifts, and they didn't get to see Santa this year because, well, this was their first Christmas, but our other dogs, got to get their picture taken with Santa, but of course we didn't get to do that because of COVID. But so I'm just going to share a little bit about, you're talking about swag. Well, yeah, I know people too, so they've really helped me up my game. Everybody that comes to the party, they're going to get a bag, okay? And this is my theme: peace, love, and dogs.
Wow.
My theme. So everybody's going to get a bag. Their bag's going to be filled with all kind of goodies. We got our towel here that says peace, love, dogs. You'll have your little towel will be in your goodie bag. I actually made custom magnets for everybody who's coming with their dog's names. Everybody, see, I made these little magnets. You see that?
Yeah.
So I put their names on it, and they'll have that in their goodie bag. I got the Tootsie Pops going on. Tootsie Pups. These are for dogs. Isn't this wonderful?
See that? Yeah.
Right.
We got this. We got the Buddy Caps. We've got Pup Tarts.
Holy moly! This
hilarious.
is the whole package here. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, they've got.
Never ending.
I got magnets for everyone. This one says "Dogs are my favorite people." Some will get "Live, Love, Woof." We got the hand sanitizer going in there in their bag to help clean up their their doggy messes. The kids are going to get notebooks, and they're going to get. I got these little change purse bags. All the little kids will get little change purses and different dogs. Of course, can't not complete without drinkware, right? So this is going to be the drinkware. Everyone will be drinking out of these. They'll be pink and blue, pink for Maggie and blue for Mo. This will be at the tables. Maggie, of course, this is going to be in her little bag, her little Chewy Vuitton purse. Chewy
Vuitton
for dogs, and Chewy Vuitton bone for my little Mozart. So again, also got these Kong water bottles for the dogs, take it off and you pour it into, you have a bowl here.
That's it.
I got this from another supplier friend. So again, I want to just read this to you. I keep this on my desk. It says, a dog's life. He might only be here for part of your life, but for him, you are his whole life. So I live that every day. My dogs live like royalty every day. We treat that they are truly part of the family, and we love it. We love them.
Okay, so
What
here
can
we
I
go.
say?
So obviously that is a phenomenal, over the top kid. I have no words for that. I do have a couple questions. Are cats invited to this party?
No. Number one, I don't know the safety of the cats.
Okay.
Because dogs, especially my Maggie, she is her grandma was like a champion bird dog. So even she sees a robin in the yard or a sparrow. I mean, I think she's got some real hunting instinct in her. I don't know that a cat would be safe.
Okay. So
not that I have anything against kitties. I just don't think they'd be safe.
I understand. And then the other question that came up as you were speaking is, you're rescuing ferrets from what? I guess I'm not in the know here. What?
Okay, so that there's the Humane Society, Animal Friends, et cetera, et cetera. Unfortunately, there are millions of cats and dogs that are put down or go to shelters every year. What a lot of people don't know is that ferrets at one point in time were like the third most popular pet in America. But what people don't know about ferrets is that they're not gerbils, they're not hamsters, they're not guinea pigs. You can't stick them in a cage and then, go about your business. They are very personable. They require a lot of attention. They're very kitten-like, they're playful, they're loving. So I think what has happened with ferrets is that people have purchased ferrets for their kids and they don't know what they're getting themselves into. This is a true story. There was a shelter in Pittsburgh. This shelter had 60 ferrets. So I was at a point in my life where I was with somebody and we lived together, and they were allergic to cats, and we both worked. I didn't think it was fair to dogs. So I started looking for, I loved animals, and I started looking for what can I have as a pet that I'm not going to feel guilty when I go to work. And I stumbled across ferret, and I had this ferret for like 8 years. Her name was Schnookums. So I had Schnookums for 8 years. And then I, started learning about ferrets and started finding out about, ferrets were ending up in these shelters. So
the ferrets just run around your house?
Well, yeah, they do. A lot of people might keep them in a cage and then let them out, during times of the day. They sleep a lot. So they're great for people that, have a busy schedule. But I kept my ferrets always ran the house until at one point I had 9 ferrets. So we built a bedroom in our house. Now we have 5 bedrooms, and one of the bedrooms we turned into, we called it the Ferret Kingdom. And they had all these tubes and these big cages, and they just kind of ran wild. But yeah, after I had my son, I felt that I was at a point in my life where I could not dedicate the time to rescuing ferrets anymore. So after I had 2 ferrets at the time he was born, and after they passed away, I kind of gave up on that.
I was not I don't know anybody that had a ferret, so I'm like clueless on the ferret problem here. So that's interesting to me.
They've got huge personalities. They're a lot of fun.
I have one follow-up question, and then we'll wrap this up. But my question is, at this party, how do you plan on keeping the dogs socially distant?
Well, they do like to sniff. They do like to sniff. So to keep our dogs socially distanced, we're going to have to come up with a game plan. I think what I'm going to have, Brett, is in my yard. I got a pretty big yard, so I'm going to have this mapped out. There's going to be some pegs where maybe some dogs are going to be getting some tied up here and there, and everyone's going to have to keep their dog on a leash to a certain extent. So yeah,
I'm concerned for your safety. That's all.
Yeah. Well, that's why I've divided it into 2 parties, and even so, I'm getting a little concerned myself. I'm going to be really honest.
You
The
got any?
excitement is turning to a little bit of like getting a little concerned here.
You got anybody coming without that doesn't have a dog?
Oh yeah. Well, we'll have some people there with no dogs.
Wow.
And then is there anybody with a +1?
Two dogs?
Well, yeah, it would be the +1. Yeah.
I actually have one friend who's got 2 dogs, but I think she's going to have the older dog stay home. I don't think she feels that her older dog's heart can handle all this excitement. So he's staying home.
Wow.
All right.
Amazing.
So
You've outdone yourself, I will say. It's very
it's a
impressive.
lot. It's a lot. And frankly, I'm a little bit excited for my invitation. So I'll bring my pup up.
All right.
We'll road trip up to Pittsburgh. No,
Sounds good.
all right. So let's wrap this up with our yes/no questions. So we're going to keep it in the animal family today. And
Oh, good. Awesome.
you know, I'd like
Not
to.
what you-
claim
it's
that
not
this-
what you think, Chris.
Oh,
I'd like to claim that this was coincidental, but it wasn't.
Okay.
So here's your yes/no question: is the Geico Gecko the best animal actor of all time?
no.
Okay. And which animal actor would be, in your opinion?
Morris.
I'm sorry.
Morris the cat.
Oh, Morris.
Oh, out of nowhere, we get Morris the cat. That's interesting. The more I thought about this, Brett sprung me on this morning, and I thought it was a great idea. I really think, to be fair, we have to kind of split this between sort of animated animals
Yeah.
and real animals, right?
Yeah.
Because there's the two different things, right?
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
You're about to burst my bubble and tell me that an animated animal is not real?
The best.
I love the gecko, by the way. I do love him. But I think Dan brings up a good point. Morris is going to get my vote because Morris wasn't animated and Morris was real.
But didn't Morris have an inner dialogue? Wasn't that his thing? He had like that whole inner dialogue going on, didn't he?
Yeah, well, Morris couldn't actually talk, Brett.
Right.
Morris didn't actually. He couldn't actually.
Which
like
by
the
way,
gecko.
which is why I think Mr. Ed trumps Morris.
Oh, Mr. Ed, yeah.
I mean, how funny was that? How funny was he? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's
Very
hysterical. But the king of all animal actors is Bugs Bunny. So I mean, that's sort of case closed. If we're going to use animated ones, I don't care. You want to go Pixar, you want to go whatever you want to do. I'm sticking with Bugs Bunny for all time.
I'm not going to argue with that. Chris, you have any parting words on that?
No, that Bugs Bunny's pretty high up on
It is
pretty
definitely
high up there, for sure.
Kris Fredericks, Modern Company.
Modern, just modern.
Just modern.
Just
Just modern. See, I kind of blew it because whenever I was going to talk about my soapbox, I was going to say, I was going to do a wardrobe change, wear my Lab Mom shirt. But
Well, you had an opportunity to show us, so I appreciate
we're
it.
going with modern, as we have in my jacket here, just modern.
Chris from Modern, thanks for
Works
being
for
with
me.
us.
Works for me. All right.
Founding suppliers. You can see them on the Soapbox. We appreciate you being with us today, and we certainly appreciate you being on the Soapbox. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Brett and Dan.